Hello everyone. For those who don't know me, my name is Tony Sargentopoulos. I'm the owner of TKS Athletics. A lot of what we teach at TKS Athletics spills over into life. And I really never get the opportunity to see that many people. So abracadabra, social media. And I got something to say. My first blog today is about mental strength because that is the most important strength you're going to have in life. People think TKS Athletics and they think physical. It goes beyond that. I got a little story. There were two gentlemen. Both got themselves into a horrific car crash. Same town, same area. One on one side of town, one on the other. They don't really know each other that well. They're mangled pretty bad, both of them. Rushed to the hospital, where they would spend quite some time. It was touch and go for a while for both of them. Finally, when both of them became stable enough and out of ICU, they ended up in the same hospital room. One of them laid flat on his back, staring at the ceiling, and that was all he can do. The gentleman on the other side of the room was actually able to sit up at about a 45-degree angle, and he was by the window. They each went through several more surgeries to repair all the injuries from those two horrific car crashes that they were in. They found themselves in the hospital, and we were already in there our second month now. And one day the guy by the window said, I was thinking, how about every day I let you know what's going on outside. Maybe pick up your spirits a little. And the guy on the other side of the room at first was appalled by this. He didn't like that idea. Is he trying to get a dig in on me? That he can actually be by the window while I have to lay here flat on my back staring at the ceiling. And the guy said, well, what the heck, why not? And so the day started a couple months into their hospital stay, with probably another month or so to go, where the gentleman on the side by the window every day would describe to the gentleman who was laying flat on his back, staring at the ceiling, what was going on outside. He would describe the gentleman at the fish market down the street, and every day when he would come out and sell his fish on the corner and then go back into the market. He would describe the older couple holding hands walking down the street every day at the same time as they walk past the park, and all the kids playing in the park, riding their bikes. Sunsets, sunrise, rain, the rainbow after the rain. And he would describe these things in detail every day. And suddenly the gentleman on the other side of the room one day began to realize he was looking forward to this every day. He actually enjoyed this part of the day. That 1 hour when his buddy on the other side of the room would describe what was going on outside, he actually looked forward to this every day. It was his favorite hour of the day. It began to make him take those negative thoughts that he was having about not really wanting to be here anymore. He thought to himself, if this is my quality of life at one point, that maybe this isn't where I want to be. And he had told this to the gentleman on the other side of the room on several occasions. Mentally, he was in a bad place. Physically, he may recover. He wasn't sure. And he couldn't get his mindset in the right position to think positive thoughts. So every day this gentleman, realizing that this was helping him, continued to tell him about everything going on outside. Another month went by, and the gentleman by the window, he had to have a couple more surgeries, some complications internally with some of his organs that they didn't see for quite some time. And one night the gentleman went down to surgery, and the gentleman on the other side of the room, laying flat on his back, went to sleep. And he woke up the next morning, and he saw a lady walk in that he hadn't seen before. She was crying. He said, I'm sorry, ma'am, are you okay? And she said, no, I'm not. And he couldn't look over because of his injuries, but he could kind of tell that the bed was made and that his friend wasn't over there. Well, he thought maybe he's in ICU again after that surgery he had. And he asked the lady, are you here for the gentleman that's next to me? My friend that's next to me. And she said, I'm his eldest sister. I just came in from out of town. He passed away last night in surgery due to complications. The gentleman who lay flat on his back was distraught. He didn't know what to think. He didn't know what to do. His friend, who had been helping him through this entire process, feeding him and letting him know all the positives going on outside, had passed, had gone to be with the Lord. He was gone. He had received some good news during these days. The information he received from the doctor was, you're going to be able to sit up pretty soon. Not all the way, 45 degrees, just like your buddy across the room was able to do. And you're making progress in the right direction. He was going to get a new roommate, and he still had a good 3 to 4 weeks to go before he was going to be released from the hospital. So he said, "Nurse, before you bring in the new roommate, can I have the bed by the window?" And the nurse didn't really see a problem with that. She said, "Absolutely." He was still flat on his back at that point, but the next day, he was able to sit up. And the nurse came into the room, and she sat him up at an angle. And for the first time, he was able to look out the window. And he looked out the window immediately. I think any of us would, right? And he was stunned. He was confused. All he saw out the window was a big red brick building, a warehouse. No windows, just a big red brick wall that went all the way from this end of the hospital to that end of the hospital, and an alleyway that was about 15 feet wide. That was it. He could see nothing else. He couldn't even see the sky. The warehouse building was taller than the hospital. And he said, "Nurse, I'm confused. Did you move me overnight into a different room?" And she looked at him and said, "No, why would we do that?" And he said, my friend who sat here by the window every day would describe to me what was going on outside, and he would do it for about an hour every day, and I looked forward to it. It gave me hope. It wanted me to be part of that again, part of life with people, being positive. When I thought there was no hope, his 1 hour tutorial on a daily basis gave me that hope." And the nurse looked at him very confused at this point. And he looked at her and said, "What did I say that is so confusing?" She kind of looked out the window. She looked back at him and she said, "Sir, your roommate that was sitting in this bed, he was blind." And it dawned on him. It dawned on him that the entire time, what his roommate was doing, while his body was still weak, was strengthening his mind. He couldn't see anything. He was blind in the car accident. He never told that gentleman, but he painted that picture of positivity. And that mental strength carried that man all the way up to that day. What you believe you are, you will become. Your mind will quit on you 1,000 times before your body ever will. We teach that at TKS because we believe that. You could be physically strong, you could be physically fast. The minute you shut down here, you're done. I'm looking forward to talking to you guys, demonstrating exercises, talking more about mental strength, telling stories, blogging. I'm Tony Sargentopoulos with TKS Athletics. You have yourself a good day.